This is the new Freewell L1 real lock-in 3 to 10 stops VND/CPL filter, and it's awesome. Freewell sent me this filter a couple of weeks ago to review, and today I'm going to share with you everything you need to know about it, including the price, the new lock-in mechanism, and of course the optical performance. Starting with the price, the all-day kit costs $250 and includes a 3 to 7 stop VND/CPL filter, an ND32 filter, an 82mm base ring, an NFC front lens cap, a white balance back cap, a filter case, and a cleaning cloth. However, additional creative filters such as a quarter black mist, CPL, UV, ND4, ND32/black mist, and base rings with different thread size options ranging from 49 to 82mm are available for purchase separately on Freewell's website. Alternatively, you can get the Mega Kit collection for $350, which includes the quarter black mist, quarter snow mist, and also everything that the all-day kit collection includes. Now let's take a look at the design of the L1 filter. I'm going to heavily compare it to the Freewell V2 filter, which I've been using for the last year and a half, I believe. And I also believe the L1 filter is a direct upgrade to this Freewell V2 filter. And honestly, that's the only high quality filter that I currently have in my possession. So first of all, in terms of build quality, both of these filters feel extremely premium and robust. Both of them are made of high quality metal. However, the L1 filter feels significantly lighter. Here I have the Freewell V2 filter with the filter cap and also the base ring. This is how much it weighs, 130 grams. And now here is how much the L1 filter weighs with the filter cap and the base ring. 79 grams, which is significantly lighter than the V2 filter. Now, in terms of mounting the filter to your lens, they work in a very similar way. They come with these base rings. By default, like I said, they will come with 82mm, but you can purchase separately a base ring with a different thread size option, but they still work slightly differently. So I'm gonna mount the base ring of the V2 filter. Just screw it on your lens and that's it. And now you can take your filter, and here on the V2 filter you have magnets, and also on the base ring itself there are magnets. And then you just magnetize it to your lens like so, and it stays there fairly securely. And if you want to lock it, you have to use these screws in here to have a complete lock of the filter, so it's not gonna go anywhere basically. And then if you want to adjust the CPL angle, you have to unscrew this, and then you can spin the filter around to basically adjust the CPL angle. I'm definitely not the biggest fan of this design because it's a bit clunky to operate with just one hand, because usually you will hold your camera with one hand and operate the filter with the other. And with the V2 filter, you'll have to basically unscrew this screw, unscrew this, just to be able to adjust the CPL angle, which takes significant amount of time to operate. And also, if you want to remove the filter, you would think that you have to slightly unscrew this and slightly unscrew this, and now it's gonna go off, but it's not going anywhere, as you can see. So sometimes I have to play around with them, with these screws. Still not going out. Still not going out completely. Still not going out. And now it's going out completely. So as you saw, it took me about, 10 seconds to remove the filter from the lens, which might not be a big deal, but when you are in the field, sweating, and you want to do things quickly, it's a bit annoying. Now, in contrast, the L1 filter works in a very similar way, but slightly different, that makes it a bit more convenient, significantly actually more convenient to operate. So you have the same base ring, you screw it to your lens, just like so, and you don't have any magnets on the base ring or on the filter itself, which I believe is one main reason why they were able to bring down the overall weight of the L1 filter compared to the V2 filter. And now to mount the filter to the base ring, you have these two buttons in here, just going to open these latches, as you can see, right? And then you just press and hold and put it in. And it's not going anywhere. As you can see, it is extremely secure. And if you want to take it out, you press these buttons again, take it out. put it in. Now, if you want to adjust the CPL angle, you hold them with one hand, these two buttons, and just rotate the filter like so. This is so much better than the design of the V2 filter because you can easily operate this with one hand. You want to adjust the CPL angle, you press these two buttons with one hand and you spin it around. You want to remove the filter quickly, you press these two buttons, remove the filter. You want to put it back in. Super simple and easy compared to the V2 Freewell filter. All right, now I want to take a look at the overall difference when it comes to adjusting the VND strength on these filters. So first of all, both of these filters have hard stops at 7 and 3 stops. This is designed so that the filter is not going to introduce any vignetting and also cross polarization issues. Here is how it looks on the L1 filter. As you can see, hard stop at 3 stops and then a hard stop at 7 stops. But the Freewell V2 filter definitely has more resistance to the overall rotation mechanism in here. And it is also extremely silent. Whereas with the L1 filter, they opted for a different type of mechanism, which one makes more noise and it doesn't have any resistance at all, which in my opinion does not feel as nice as the mechanism on the V2 filter. All right, next I want to talk about filter stacking because there is a significant difference between these two filters. With the V2, you have magnets on top of the filter, which allows you to magnetically attach extra filters. I don't have any filters at the moment for this system, but I do have the lens cap just to show you how it works. So basically the filter will have like magnets, and then you can magnetically attach it to the front part of the filter. No screwing. It's very simple, just magnets, and it stays on the filter very securely. Whereas with the Freewell L1, you do not have any magnets. The way it works is with the same lock-in mechanism as on the base 3 to 7 stop filter. So for example, if you want to turn this into like 6 to 10 stops by stacking the ND32 on top of this, you'll have to take this filter. And as you can see, you have the same 2 buttons with the latches, and you have cutouts here on the sides and also like a white line in here. And you will basically have to take this white line, align it with the white line in here with the Freewell logo, press these 2 buttons on the sides, of course, and just lock it in like so. And now the filter, you know, the ND32 is basically not going to go anywhere. And you basically turned your 3 to 7 stops VND into like 6 to 10 stops plus, I would say. And if you want to, for example, add an extra mist filter, you will take the mist filter, take this white line, align it with the logo of the filter, and that's basically it. As you can see, it stays there very securely. But the thing that annoys me about this system is that, as you can see, it is a bit clunky and bulky compared to my lens, especially when I use all these filters stacked together. It's definitely versatile and easy to use and also robust. Like, it's not gonna go anywhere, but it's a bit bulky and clunky in my opinion with all of these buttons here on the sides. Just want to share with you a pro tip. If you don't want to carry this bulky filter case from Freewell, you can just take the rear white balance cap, put it on the back in here to protect the back part of the filter, and then you can take the front filter cap, just put it in the front in here, and now you're basically protecting the glass from the back and also from the front. I think it is much easier to carry this than having this giant case always in your bag. Okay, regardless, now let's talk about the optical performance. And I think the L1 filter performs significantly better than the V2 filter. As you can see, here is a shot of me not using a filter at all and then setting the L1 filter to 3 stops. There's barely any color shifts, no vignetting at all. The image looks extremely neutral and the colors are more or less the same. Whereas if I put the Freewell V2 filter at 3 stops, there is a slight amount of color shift. It is noticeable compared to the L1 filter, and it is especially noticeable compared to not using a filter at all. Now at 5 stops, the L1 has a warm/red color shift, and it is much more noticeable than at 3 stops, as you can see right here. Whereas with the Freewell V2 at 5 stops, it looks more neutral than the L1 filter, surprisingly. Now, when setting the L1 to 7 stops, as you can see, the image becomes much more neutral in terms of like colors, with barely any vignetting or issues like that. It still looks fairly neutral compared to not using a filter at all. Whereas with the Freewell V2, you see a significant color shift towards magenta and cool colors, which is far more distracting than how the image looks like with the L1 filter. So I would say, again, the weakest point of the L1 filter when it comes to color shifts is at 5 stops, whereas the V2 is not performing its best at 3 or 7 stops, but it performs pretty great at 5 stops of ND. And for those of you who wonder what happens if you stack the ND32, the optical performance still remains great, in my opinion at least. You do see some, color shifts, but it's not that significant in my personal opinion at least. I've also tried using both of these filters with my iPhone 16 Pro Max with a 24mm lens, and I've noticed a couple of weird issues when setting both of these filters to 7 stops. As you can see, there is like a significant color shift going on, which I was not be able to replicate with my full frame camera at 35mm. So I think it has something to do with the iPhone lens or whatever, but still, even in this case, the L1 performs slightly better than the V2 Freewell filter. So to summarize, the new Freewell L1 filter kit offers significant improvements over the Freewell V2 filter, including a lighter design, easier mounting, simpler CPL angle adjustment, up to 10 stops of ND instead of 7, support for filter stacking for creative purposes, and overall better optical performance. However, it is also considerably more expensive than the Freewell V2 filter, which goes for $150 compared to $50. And also, I kind of wish the base filter would have started at 1-2 stops of ND instead of 3, because sometimes when shooting on a cloudy day at an aperture of about f4, f5.6, 3 stops is a bit too dark, so it's not going to be as versatile in these conditions, especially if you're using f4 zoom lenses. But if I could only have one range of ND, 3 to 7 stops is going to be basically the most versatile out there. Anyhow, thank you for watching. Hopefully you got the information you need if you are about to purchase this new VND filter from Freewell. Like I said, it does offer significant amount of improvements over the Freewell V2, but it is definitely not perfect. Anyhow, I'm going to leave links for it down below for you to check out. These are going to be affiliated links, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.